want to remove that I'm intimidating to a certain degree, because I still have to have a certain amount of respect, but I need them to know that we can talk, right, about pretty much anything.
And then you kind of mentioned this in passing, is just kind of respecting their pace of like where they're at and trying to do it. So if you say, hey, say hello, and they just suck their thumb and don't say anything, and then finally you get them to say hello, it's like, good job. That's a win. They didn't say a novel and have a full conversation, but like that's where they're at, and that's where they're going to be right now, and that's good. Give them the win when they get the win, kind of thing. So from a parenting side, I think those are some of the key ways that you can help support and help fix that. So hopefully that's something useful, because every time you give an example, you kind of have these things all layered in, which is interesting. So I just like kind of trying to pull them out a little bit. Maybe do you have anything else to say on that? Do we go to coaches a little bit?
Yeah, like, I mean, I really do think it's important that parents, I mean, do what you want with your kid, but I think you do you'll do your coaches a favor if you give them a head start. You give your kids a favor if you give them a head start too. And it's like, one conversation I had the other day was one guy that's, I guess, about 17, was with, has to do a couple things with his coach, so they're together a little bit, and he goes, the guy doesn't speak, man. So the one coach asked, why don't you talk? He goes, well, what do I say? What do you mean, what do you say? He goes, well, he's older. It's like, well, that's, wow. Say something, ask a question, man. Where do you work? Like, it's just common things. I just think parents need to drill that in their kids, unless you don't want to.
Yeah.
Like I'm just saying that's what I've seen work.
Yeah, that's insane for me. Like,
if you don't want to,
is.
that's fine. But anyways, you want to go coaches? Yeah. So this is like, you said, like, it's coaches are, how do I say it? I think this is one of the beautiful things about being a coach, is that you get to influence. You get a chance to. This is what we talk about. You get to make a difference in people's lives. Hockey's hockey, right? Hockey's hockey. If you can actually make a difference in the kids that you're coaching's lives, simple things like, teaching them that I'm here to help you. Like, that's a good thing, or not, but it's a good thing to be able to have the skill, or to communicate that, Eric, I'd like to speak more. Like, what do you think of this power play? What do you think of this kind of thing? It's a huge thing for coaches to be able to do. I think at the end of the day, kids appreciate it because you're building confidence, and I think it's huge. It's just huge. Go ahead, you got something.
Well, I want to kind of just, as a coach, like, I guess kind of the difference. It's the same as parenting, but there's just like some subtle differences, because you don't have as much control of the kid because you're not the parent. And I think the key from the team perspective as a coach is just creating the environment where that is what is expected.
Okay, so
right?
I think I lost my train of thought. So this is kind of standard practice. Like, remember I was talking about a philosophy of your team. One of my rules is that I want you to work hard, and I want you to look me in the eye. That's just my rule. Some coaches don't care about that, but like, for me, it goes a long way. And when I ask a question, I would like an answer. So you get on the ice, or you're doing a chalk talk. Does everybody understand? And you don't get a yes or a no, yes, coach, whatever. It's like, I will say, I need an answer. And for some groups, that might take 10, 20, 30 times, but it has to be ingrained. So all of a sudden, that becomes a habit. The next phase is, I need you to communicate on the ice. So you're doing drills, and it's dead quiet. It's like, hey, whistle goes. Because it's important in hockey, to be honest with you. Like, it's not like something that I demand or certain coaches demand. If you watch an NHL game, you'll hear talking the whole time. If you watch a junior game, you'll hear talking all the time. It's a necessary thing for hockey. It's a necessary skill. So if we're in practice and we're not if we're moving the puck and we're not calling for it most of the time, stops. I need to hear you talk, and it's a pain in the ass. But kids, you need to understand it. So it's like, you set the foundations no matter where you are.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, for sure. So same thing. I'm going to say them quick because they kind of speak for themselves, but these are kind of some things I thought about with just coaching. And it lines up perfectly with what you're saying. So obviously you're creating that environment where that's the expectation. That's number one. The active feedback, stopping the drill and saying, hey, this is what we need to be doing. We're not doing it. That's one. Role modeling it as the coach. Again, same as with parents. Like, you got to be the example. having meet like individually addressing the kids, whether that's a meet through a player meeting or whatever, giving them the feedback on the individual level as well, not just as a team. Um, Encouraging leadership roles, like especially if it's not the actual captains of the team. So if you're up to like a junior level, let's say, and there's younger kids that they have leadership qualities, but they're not the captains of the team yet. It's like reinforcing that, encouraging that. And you can do that even on your AAA team. It's like these guys are the leadership group, but you still should be a leader. Like you're still a leader on this team, and like encouraging those things where they can have a voice. Like I think that's a good thing. Um, Communication exercises, whether that's a drill where that's the focus of the drill, those are things you can do. And then recognizing the effort again, where it's like if they do the thing, tell them they did it. It's like, good guys, that was better now. And those kinds of ways where now it's like they feel like, okay, we're on the right track. We're doing what we're supposed to do. He's recognizing that we've done what he's asked as the coach or whatever. So those are just kind of some headers that fall in line with that example that you gave from the coaching side. Anything else for coaches? I just want to finish on a couple questions and then
Yeah.
we can
Well,
go.
so the last thing with the coaches, I guess, last thing is that like if you're the coach, it's very important to me to be effective that you take the wall down of you're the older stern coach. Maybe in junior and stuff it's could be a little bit different, but I think it's important if you want to get the most out of your players to let them know that the door is open or the communication door is open. Like that's number one. And that it's not just always my way is the way it's going to be. That's it. That's all. Because sometimes people learn in different manners, and your way might be the way, and they'll do it no matter what. But I do think it's important that kids can not question what you're doing, but understanding it better on a different level. So that if they are having a hard time, because there's nothing there, to me, there would be nothing worse than if I was coaching someone and they were just too scared to ask me why they're not on the power play, or why they're not getting ice, or why this, why that, or whatever. Like I think it's very important for them to be able to say, okay, I gotta get the guts to ask coach because I know he is intimidating. So I want to remove that I'm intimidating to a certain degree because I still have to have a certain amount of respect, but I need them to know that we can talk, right, about pretty much anything, right? So that's number one. And then when you do that, it's like you I think again as a coach, your job is to ask questions. So you can tell them what to do, but like let's say you know it's not whatever the question is. I don't understand the system. Okay, let's go in here. Do you da 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 da? Do you understand now? And they say yeah. Do they though? You might get them to reiterate it, to say it again, whatever. But you have to recognize as a coach that number one, nice balls on you, kid, for coming in to talk. Like honest to God, say reward them for that. Saying, like, I'm glad you came in to talk. I hope it's better. And welcome it again if they need to. I think that feedback, like, as you said before, when they do something well, reward them for it. Like say that's a good job. But you want to be able to make sure that they actually understand, they feel comfortable. Like, oh, and that wasn't so bad. Actually, coach wants to help me, right? So like I think that message is can't be clear enough.
Yeah.